So, Australia's going to be banning social media for kids. Let's check this out.
Australia is to ban children from using social media. The legislation will impose and enforce a minimum age to use platforms like Facebook and Instagram by the end of the year. Although the
Facebook
exact age hasn't yet
already
been
does that
revealed,
at like
the government
13,
is
don't they,
consulting on
themselves?
settling it between the ages
In
of
the
14
US federal
and
government.
16. Here's Prime Minister Anthony Albanese explaining his reasoning.
Between 14 and 16.
I want to see kids off their devices and onto the footy fields and the swimming pools and the tennis courts. We want them to have real experiences with real people, because we know
That's good.
that social media is causing social harm. This is a scourge. We know that there is mental health consequences for what
There are.
many of the young people have had to deal with.
A lot of good from it too, though.
Bullying that can occur online, the access to material which causes social harm.
Well, our correspondent in Sydney, Phil Mercer, tell me more.
Could be corn there.
As we heard there from the Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese, he doesn't want an Australian child's best friend to be a device. He wants them out on the football.
That is the perfect statement. Doesn't want their best friend to be a device. That's all you needed right
Field
there.
or playing netball on a court. So what his government is proposing, that before the next election, which is due before May of next year, he wants to bring in new legislation that would set a minimum age for children to access social media. He hasn't said how young an Australian would have to be or how old they would have to be in order to set up an account. It's likely to be somewhere between 14 and 16 years of age. The Prime Minister is favouring the upper level in that age range. But many unanswered questions remain. How would this be enforced? We know that facial recognition and
I don't have a clue how they would actually
will be
enforce that.
trialled in this country ahead of any specifics relating to this legislation. So essentially,
criminally?
Anthony Albanese, the Prime Minister, wants to clamp down on young people's use of social media because he says that parents are worried sick about what their experiences might be.
The parents are worried about it. They are also the ones in the greatest position to deal with it for their kid.
And at the moment, there is already supposed to be an age limit imposed by people like
Parents
Facebook
will blame
and
anyone but
Instagram,
themselves.
who want users to be, I think, at least 13 years old. But the question is going to be partly around enforcement and personal liberty and freedom, I guess.
Well, this debate is ongoing not in Australia, but as you say, right around the world. How much time on a device is good and what should young people be consuming? Now, people who are concerned about Australia's rush to impose a minimum age say that essentially it would deprive Australian children of the benefits of social media for many young people.
There's a lot of benefits
They
too.
happily use social media as a way to connect with their friends, to be educated and informed. And what some critics of the Prime Minister want is not...
I don't know if I'd be letting my kids get educated on social media. But as far as getting educated towards the use of that social media and electronics, yeah, definitely.
This sledgehammer approach to imposing a minimum age, but more work to be done to make the internet more appropriate and accessible for children. So it is a massive debate in this country, and the government is promising to bring in new laws by the end of the year. So it is very much in a hurry in this regard.
Phil Mercer there for us.
Okay.
Young people.
So, what I took from that is obviously a bunch of parents have been complaining about, what is being broadcast across social media. And their prime minister has now made the move to ban children under a certain age. He said he was aiming towards the top, so let's say 16. Somewhere between 14 and 16. He's going to ban them from social media. I find it wild that the parents are going to their government asking for this. Not all of them, but some of them. Enough to actually make him like begin the process of following through with it, the parents are in the best position to handle this. Like, if you're concerned about it, don't let your kid have social media. If you're wanting them to go play sports and stuff, take that phone, take that tablet, take whatever gaming system, and tell them, like, hey, you're going to go try some sports out. Not just sports. Hey, you can go play chess. You can join an academic team. You can go join the band and learn how to play an instrument. I mean, there's also people that do private lessons with instruments or whatever. There's a million things you could do that would be beneficial towards you and being in a team environment and having face-to-face human interaction. But, I mean, how would you even enforce that if it does go through? At the end of the day, it's still going to be on the parents. Everyone just wants to blame someone else. It's the parents' fault. Like, you're in the greatest position to handle it. Stop making it someone else's problem because you suck. But, anyways, okay, with a little tangent there. I do see where they're coming from. Want these kids to get out, get involved, be in public, learn in a social environment. And getting to have face-to-face interactions, learning to be a part of a team. I mean, these are all great things, and I think that as parents, we should all try to get our child to be a part of some form of team. And I'm not saying it doesn't have to be football, basketball, baseball, softball, whatever. I mean, don't get me wrong, all those are great. If they play, that's awesome, man. I love sports. But there's also more than that. Thankfully, most schools, they have like beta clubs. There's chess teams. There's band. There's academic teams. All these are great. Obviously, academic teams and the band and stuff like that, man, you can get great scholarships that way and further your education. I mean, there's so much out there nowadays, and you need to encourage your kids to be a part of it. You really do. Now, with that said, I don't know how they would even enforce it. I really don't, man. Is it going to be criminal? Like, is this something to where if they find out your child has social media, they're going to come and they're going to cite you to court? Because I can already tell you right now, like, Facebook has that 13 and under, you can't have Facebook. And parents already let their kids have Facebooks well before 13. Tell you that right now. But, yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, it's still going to be on the parents, man. I don't know what they're complaining about. It's on them anyways. But I do understand. Well, let me rephrase. Because I do think it's important to bring your kids up around technology. It's here to stay, and it's only going to get better and better. Technology is only going to improve. You need to get used to it and know how to work it. You need to learn how to operate a basic cell phone, an iPad, a computer. These are going to be things that you're going to use in school, from grade school to high school to university and into the workforce. If you're going to be a content creator, you're going to have to know how to use a computer. Yeah, it is important to at least have a basic foundation of how to use technology. Number two, social media is here to stay. The big thing here is that you encourage your child to be a part of teams and get them out of the house to get exercise or further their education or learn to play an instrument, whatever. And you limit the technology, right? You don't want your child, as soon as they get home from school, they spend the next 8 hours on technology, go to sleep, rinse, and repeat. Get them active some way. Once again, that does not have to be physical. It can be educational. Man, like it still just burns me up that the parents are like bringing it to the government. Like, hey, you got to do something because I don't want to. Yeah, man, get your kids involved. Limit that technology. I know a lot of parents out there, they're like, hey, it's like, bud, you have access to this for a couple of hours today. Other than that, you need to be, you got practice for football, or you got cheerleading, or whatever. You limit that technology. On top of that, monitor what they're doing with that technology. There's you talk about talking with your friends, man. There's was it Facebook Messenger for kids where the parents can monitor what the kid's saying right on their own device? Or hey, go get their tablet or whatever every now and then and go through there and see if they're having private conversations. And what those conversations consist of. It's really it's that simple to just take a look. And most importantly is talk to your kid. Be like, hey, we're going to give you, these cell phones or iPads, this technology, but you have to inform them of the dangers that come to it as far as talking to strangers. Don't visit certain websites. Don't click on links. Stay away from these things. Right? I mean, once again, it comes down to parenting, man. It comes down to parenting. It's a shame. But yeah, I hate to take the technology away. I do think it's important that kids grow up around it and understand the basic fundamentals of technology. And it's going to help them in the long run. Because like I said, it's there. It's going to be there until it's all over on the world. Technology is here to stay. And we need to know how to use it. It's in the workforce. But yeah, man, let me know what you guys think. All right, do you support this? Or not? I get the concept of wanting them to be more active. But boys, that's a parenting problem. That's not a government problem. The only thing the government should be involved in is what these social medias are pumping out. I will agree, there's too much damn porn flying. There's too much corn flying around. Like just randomly open up Twitter, especially Twitter. Like, oh my God. Anyways, that's my rant. Thank you all for watching. I'll catch you in the next one.